What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, another Monday, another town hall in the books. This is for March 13th, 2023. It was a little bit of a quieter one, and so I'm still here with my 5 biggest takeaways. Again, for those who might be new to the channel or new to this kind of ongoing series, this is not a summary. There are fantastic video and written content creators that put together full summaries and recaps for this. And what we're actually looking at right now is the official Splinterlands Town Hall summary put on Hive Blog or posted on Hive Blog or Peak D. So they got that one out right away. So you can kind of see it was a little bit of a smaller one overall. So we're going to use this as a reference. And then, of course, my notes here, and I can make this a little bit bigger for those of you trying to see what we're going to be talking about. So first things first, promo cards. We got confirmation that there are actually going to be 2 promo cards, which is exactly what I wanted. Part of me feels like it's too much, but at the same time, this is how it should be. And for those of you wondering, why are we getting 2 promo cards? This is a little ridiculous. Well, one of them is our fault, right? We voted on a proposal for the SPS stakers to get, for SPS stakers to get essentially a promo card, and that is Ruse, right? That was the little goblin or gremlin guy who was teased. I think there's actually a little more eye candy here. There he is, right? So. And we're going to get into this in a second, but the second promo card is what the team has been wanting to do on a quarterly basis. And so there's actually going to be a difference in how each of these are given out. Now, if you remember the proposal, and this is for Ruse, right? So this is kind of like a one-off thing. They're actually going to follow the proper format that was listed out in the proposal, which is great. I didn't know if they were going to. We didn't get any confirmation otherwise. I don't know if they were just going to kind of collapse both, their quarterly promo and this into one. So that is not the case at all. We are getting 2 separate promos, the first of which, well, actually, I don't know if it's the first, but the first that we've heard of is Ruse, and this is for the SPS proposal. So I believe it's for every 1,000 SPS you have staked, you will essentially have access to be eligible to go and redeem 1 BCX. Now, I believe they said this is going to be a common card, and you will. I think it's going to be a voucher for it. I'll have to go back and check the actual proposal, but my memory is pretty good on this. I believe it's 1,000 for every 1,000 staked, you get a BCX. So you need to have like 400,000 SPS staked in order to get a maxed copy of this thing. And as of now, I think there's only like 520,000 SPS, no, sorry, 520,000 BCX that would be printed because there's like 520 million SPS staked. So this is going to be interesting. Now, the format for this is as follows, right? There's going to be a snapshot. There's going to be a countdown to the snapshot that will come in. When that snapshot happens, then there will be a countdown to whenever the sale comes in. And obviously, after the snapshot, nothing will really change, but you will need a voucher to go and redeem it. So with that coming up, and then, of course, this other promo card, which will probably be for the normal, I guess vouchers and DEC. The last promo card that we had that wasn't like a one-off, which I still kind of like count Salty Bear as like a one-off. So I would go back to Lux Vega, where it was like half DEC, or they list the price in DEC, but then vouchers can essentially get you half off. I think we're gonna get that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think there's any need for us to get both of these in the month of March, especially if like land is coming into play too, and any other things that they're trying to get done before the end of the quarter. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get the second of the promo cards, so not Ruse, sometime maybe early April. And obviously the focus right now is on Ruse. We got all the graphics for him, all the excitement. And ultimately, I'm excited. I'm really happy about this because, it's not that I want there to be a ton of cards, but I love the fact that they're following, the principles behind what they were trying to do. They're still going to release their card. They're going to honor the SPS stakers' wishes as we put in the proposal. So this is good times ahead. And if we're going to get this stuff, maybe not within the next 2 weeks, but within the next month, that is actually very, very exciting in my opinion. So 2 promo cards coming up. That's probably my favorite thing from today's town hall. But we do have some other things to talk about. There were new game modes being talked about. And again, it's not specific game modes, but more so the conversation around the ECR changes that are upcoming, not in the 14th maintenance window, the March 14th, but in the March 21st, right? So based on the post. And I did a separate video covering that, and I kind of teased this main point. But essentially, the team understands the biggest gripe that like I had, and I'm sure many others had with this upcoming ECR change. And that is essentially that, if you want to play forever, which is what every game studio should want you to do, you can't do that anymore without paying more. There should be a way that you can just keep on playing, have fun with the cool cards, practice things in the meta and all that. And we don't really have that coming. So what the what the team was kind of talking about was Nate, it was Weirdbeard, Aggie, there was and it was all throughout the town hall. This kept getting brought up, is this idea that we may work towards or prioritize some newer game modes in the future. Now, don't get too excited because this is still probably going to be very far out. Excuse me. The team is like doing their planning for the next quarter or the next 10 weeks, however they run their like sprints and stuff. So this is probably something that would come after that. I would say that maybe sometime in Q3 would be the earliest, the absolute earliest that we'd be able to see something along those lines. But, a lot of things were discussed where, obviously Weirdbeard has been pushing a lot of different game modes, but, there's talk about like inter-guild like practices and challenges and creating spaces for people to just play, sandboxes, right? To go and just play with their cards. So now the fact that we're going to get this ECR change, the sentiment around it before it's even launched is already saying like, we want to play more. So just give us an opportunity to play more. I'm hopeful that we will get these new game modes prioritized. It sounds like we're going to get these new game modes prioritized, but to level set expectations, like I said, it's probably not going to be until much later in the year, Q3 at the very earliest. But, we'll see what they come up with. I mean, maybe they get into their planning sessions later this week and come out with a new roadmap where they are able to fit this in. But with land being as big of a project as it is, and obviously guilds being a major focus for Q2, I don't know. To me, that's probably where they're going to spend most of their time. And then once they can make those changes, we start to add on to the game in various other ways. Okay. Number 3. Now, this is related to the new game modes. And, Investigator was on talking about this. And I don't know if he was just like teasing it or he was just being really coy about it. I'm trying not to read into it, but I was a little, I became much more optimistic with the way that he was saying it. But he was talking about practice bots. And so there is a practice mode that is very underutilized right now. And a lot of times people just want to go in and play games. So kind of in the same vein or part of the same conversation of ECR and the ECR update that's upcoming, practice bots is something that Investigator was like, I don't know, maybe that could be changed like next week. Who knows, right? So when he said that, I was just like, in contrast to point number 2, where new game modes being prioritized, that's further down the line. But it does make me think about the fact that if you want to just run some games, test some ideas, test some lineups, you don't really have a way of doing that right now with your main deck without getting penalized from an ECR standpoint. So if we do get something like that with practice bots, and that is something that is very much, a lot easier to implement for the team, if we can get that sometime in Q2, I'm not saying that that's going to be the solution or end all be all of everything, but it'd be nice. And it seems as though it would be much closer in terms of timeline rather than the new game mode. So just wanted to call that out as well. And Investigator, I don't know if you watch these videos, but I would very much love to know what that kind of coy answer was. You had this smile and this kind of like, maybe next week. I don't know. So I don't know if he was just, again, who knows what it was, but it made me a little optimistic when I heard him talk about it. Okay, number 4. We're making great time on this. Number 4. So Cryptomancer will be working on guilds for, it looks like, most of Q2, or at least that is like the main thing he will be focused on. And there's been a lot of things teased, such as new buildings, such as different syncs, but voucher syncs is something that was talked about kind of abstractly before, but Agro mentioned it in a much more defined way. Now, again, with guild alliances as kind of like the first iteration of what we were expecting in Q2 for guilds, and now like just this expansion of guilds now that we're no longer doing the alliances, I still expected vouchers to play a larger role. I mean, I also expect more DEC syncs, more, maybe utility for Rooney as well. But I'm excited about the voucher syncs because vouchers are becoming not scarce, but we're finally getting that utility. And so if in the next 3 months, we're going to see regular promo cards, we're going to see, things like Rift Watchers and Tower Defense, the sales moving out for those, vouchers could be vouchers could be in a place where we finally get a good equilibrium for them. And it's not just like, oh, we have utility and then like 6 months later, nothing. And then, or, for 6 months, there's nothing. And then, oh, we have utility and then nothing. And actually that hasn't even really been the case. So let me be fair about this. There is utility for vouchers. It's just the demand isn't quite there. Now with guilds, that is a very like integral part of the game, and there are a lot of guilds out there that are very, very serious and take this, very competitively. And so you create that sync for vouchers for a lot of these competitive guilds, and it won't matter to them. They want to come in and they want to make sure that they are leveling up their guilds and maxing out their guilds as quickly as possible. So I'm excited about the upcoming voucher syncs potentially for guilds and what that could mean. But again, that's like 3 months out, and that puts us in like, June or probably early July by that point. And Rebellion probably won't be there in early July. I think that's going to be a late Q3, maybe even Q4 type of deal. So it could be interesting to see what happens with vouchers between now and Q3 and now and I guess between now and like the end of Q3 specifically, if we can get a lot of these syncs online, if the scarcity of cards really starts to, bring some kind of demand for these vouchers. Oh, sorry, not for these vouchers, but for things like Rift Watchers, for example, right? So I don't know. I'm just excited about it. Vouchers obviously have been always the stepchild of the tokens within Splinterlands, and it would be nice to see them get some love. Honestly, I know I rag on them all the time, but I I want to see them succeed. I thought they were a brilliant idea during the pre-sale, and they just haven't really hit since then, right? The pre-sale of Chaos Legion, which is like 16 months ago. So yes, super excited about that. Hopefully we can get some ongoing voucher syncs and voucher syncs for guilds in the upgrades. And then also if there's new items, so something that like Cryptomancer or Weirdwood mentioned was that Cryptomancer wants to add a bunch of items. And so if we can make ongoing things for like brawls, things like the Spyglass and other items that would make, sense from an ongoing standpoint for brawls, and then add them as voucher syncs, that's another layer of it too. Okay, number 5, territory border changes. So they have actually updated the map. This is not specific, or this is not official yet. We don't have anything specifically for it, but you can kind of see the old map here. And again, I'm not going to zoom in because it's just going to get too crazy. But one thing that I want you to notice is Land of Prosperity, LOP, and kind of how long this extends, and then this SHC Shimmering Coast, and kind of how like flattened it is. And then if we go down to the new map, you can see here that Land of Prosperity has been kind of pushed out and reduced in size. And then we do have some Shimmering Coast sneaking up in and probably going to take some of the earlier some of the earlier regions. Now, again, like I said, we don't have the regions themselves and the dots that, signify the different numbers and where everything's located, but that should be coming soon. Now, what they did say is they didn't make any changes to stuff that has already been claimed, but they wanted to look at this from a more balanced perspective, right? You have 150 regions and 7 territories. That the math there doesn't make it nice, right? So you don't have like the same amount of regions in every single territory. So I think what they went and did, and obviously we'll have to wait for confirmation of this, but what they went and did was twofold, in my opinion, where they wanted to make sure, try to even out the regions as much as they could without touching stuff that was already claimed. So that means we'll get to Central Fire a little bit sooner as well, so it should be good. But then the other part of it too is also, I'm personally a little worried about like the last couple of regions, right? So the ones that get to like, 130 to 150, because if those aren't claimed and those are sitting in dead accounts, or, the people either lost their keys or they just don't play the game anymore, or they passed away, whatever the case could be, right? That territory, like I don't want to be in Shimmering Coast for that reason. Now, what they're trying to do from my perspective is like mitigate some of that by having Shimmering Coast go a little bit earlier. So instead of just having, Shimmering Coast be like whatever it is, like 120 to 150 or 130 to 150, it's going to take in some of the like the 80s and 90s or whatever number of regions are going to be through here, right? So we know that the path roughly follows around, goes up, and then comes back down. So if it has more in there, and then those last couple of regions aren't as active, at least there will be something there, and region Shimmering Coast will not just be kind of like this dead place that nobody wants to be a part of and nobody can even get access to, right? Because that's not even the issue. The inactivity, like it's not like the slow activity, it's the inactivity. It's not even the inactivity, because inactivity could be remedied in the sense where it's just like somebody's not playing. Maybe you can reach out to them, find who they are, and convince them like, let me just buy these assets from you, right? Like you're not really playing, you're not doing anything. Let me go ahead and buy it. But if they're inaccessible, then they're just completely dead. Like they should just be like wastelands, post-apocalyptic, whatever, like don't go there because there's not, and you can't even go there. So hopefully, these territory border changes will be effective in that way. I do want to know though, is anybody here bothered by that? The fact that they did this kind of on the back end. And the reason I ask, I haven't claimed any land. And if I had claimed land, it's not, I don't think that I would have gotten like, oh man, I should have gone for something else, right? If I claimed land, I would have just been over it. But I do wonder if anybody who's like super hardcore on land is looking at this and being like, oh, like it sucks that they changed this after the fact. Maybe from a principle standpoint, or maybe it impacts you specifically. Like you wanted to be in Central Fire, but you didn't want to wait like however long. I don't know what the case is, but I'm just curious to get people's opinions on that specifically. If there is anybody that is really, really upset about this, but ultimately, I don't think that there was any malice behind it. I think the team is just trying to really balance everything and take, new information when it comes and apply it wherever necessary. So that is that. Wow, this is going to be one of the shortest videos that we do in a while for these 5 biggest takeaways because we have covered all 5. And the only bonus I have is a shout out to Weirdbeard, who's doing a survey here. And I don't know if there is a link in here. I thought that there would be, but I will post a link. Oh, here you go. So there's a link on here, and I'll make sure to post it in the description as well. He wants to get feedback from players for guilds and brawls. I will tell you ahead of time, as he said in the town hall, it's a little bit longer. It's trying to be very in-depth and get your, like to the root of a lot of these issues. I think he said it's like 60 questions long, so make sure you grab some coffee and set some time aside. But, the team is listening, and the team has been listening. So if you want your voice to be heard, and you don't want to pay, 100,000 DEC in order to get a proposal up, this is a great way to do it. Weirdbeard's a great dude, and he really engages with the community well, in my opinion. So make sure you check it out and go show some support and make your voice be heard. That is all I have for you guys, though. Let me know if you had any other thoughts coming out of the town hall. We are in, hopefully, for an amazing, exciting, explosive end of Q1, second half of March, because there's only 2 more release dates left. There's only 2 more town halls and 2 more release dates. Team is going into planning this week, so hopefully next week they may not have all the graphics and stuff ready to share with us, but they'll have a better idea of what we can expect for the next, however many months, for the next quarter, essentially. And then, we also have 2 release dates with land, promo cards, who knows what else? ECR changes. Like, I don't know. It's going to be exciting times up ahead. And chaos is gone. I haven't even talked about that on the channel yet. So chaos is gone. So we are in it now. We are in not the end game, but we are in the post game, post end game, whatever you want to call it. That's all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.